Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Real Deal Podcast. I am your host, Tiara Spells, and I'm here with some new kids on the block, so I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
I'm Joel Riley.
I'm Sammy Reddy.
And we have some really cool topics for you guys today. First, I guess we can jump right in and start with, actually, I've been rewatching Game of Thrones, and I just saw a news story that said something along the lines of, if I can pull it up. Oh, it says Game of Thrones Season 8. Season 8 will be the last season of Game of Thrones, and that comes out next April, I think. And it said HBO used a drone killer to ward off spoilers, which is kind of a lot.
Okay.
I think. It
Okay.
says Game of Thrones spoilers have been leaked onto the web countless times, whether due to cast members revealing tiny details or HBO accidentally uploading entire episodes early by accident, which happened. And I don't know if it happened last season or the season before. Game of Thrones, I don't know if you guys know a whole lot about it.
I can't say I do.
I haven't seen a single
Okay,
episode.
what do you know?
It's a bunch of incest.
I know Peter Dinklage is in it.
Yes.
So I love Sophie Turner. I know Sophie
I know,
Turner.
she's great.
Sophie Turner's in it. I don't know the actress name who plays her, but I think her Khaleesi.
Yes, that's her title in the first season. She is no longer a Khaleesi in
Okay.
the show.
Well, I'm trying.
But no, it's a thing everybody does because people are like, oh my god, I love Khaleesi so much, but that's not her name. That's literally her title in the first season, and then her husband dies. So
Well, wait,
she's not technically a Khaleesi.
So what's her actual name?
Her name is Daenerys.
That's her name. Okay,
Daenerys
that's her
Targaryen.
name.
Yeah, she's
Okay,
played by
okay.
Emilia Clarke.
Okay, got it.
She was in that movie. I know somebody who calls it the wheelchair suicide movie. What is it called? Me Before You. There we go. Does anybody remember that?
I don't think I. No,
heard of
I haven't heard of that. I definitely have not heard
It was
of that.
about this guy who
It's on Netflix, ain't it?
I don't know. But it was about this guy who was like bound to a wheelchair and they like fall in love and it's supposed to be like really emotional, like Nicholas Sparks type thing. Yeah, I haven't seen it because that's sort of all I've heard about it and I'm like, doesn't really seem like my thing. But Game of Thrones, for those who don't know, is this big fantasy series. It's a very big epic show and it's sort of amassed like a huge following, and so the last season is coming up, so I guess HBO is doing all it takes to sort of keep spoilers at bay. Like last season I had some stuff spoiled for me, but I wasn't really surprised because the first few seasons were really good. Like seasons 1, 2, 3, and 4 was saved by one character, and then he died. And then he died.
Okay.
And so seasons 5, 6, and 7 were just like, they were just okay. They were a little predictable because they sort of veered away from the books. I've been rewatching the show and I've also been picking up the first book here and there. They're huge. So like, and as a college student,
Walking Dead huge?
they're like this big. Like
So Walking Dead
I don't know. I've never actually read the Walking Dead comics, but the books are like huge and there's so many of them, and the author George R.R. Martin still hasn't released the last one. Yeah, there's like 2 more books left and he still hasn't released them, and I think Winds of Winter was supposed to come out like 2 years ago maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, it's fine. No, it's fine.
They haven't been released.
It's fine.
And so
Everything's fine.
yeah, and there was actually a tweet, and it was like George R.R. Martin tells people to go out and vote on such and such day, and somebody was like, "You really expect George R.R. Martin to produce like what was the tweet? It was something like to promote an actual due date or something like that." But yeah, it says there have been people attempting to film scenes from miles away, and the occasional set photo has like released online, but no one has released a script online, which is not that bad. I mean, I don't know. I feel
Leaves up for surprise?
I guess, which is nice, but obviously the TV show's going to end differently than the books, probably.
Don't they all?
I mean, yeah, but it's sort of just weird because they have veered away from the book so much and they had a lot of material to sort of work with. and they just didn't use it.
Yeah.
And so now we have this last season where sort of nobody knows where it's going. Nobody knows what's really gonna. Well, I can kind of see where it's going because it's getting in that television writing
Everyone
sort of
dies.
predictableness of it. And I know either Daenerys is gonna go crazy like her dad was, or she's gonna end up on the throne with Jon Snow. And either one of them, I'm gonna be like, cool. Cool.
Do you think I should start watching it? Like, would you recommend?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great show, especially the first couple of seasons, and then you're so invested by the time it gets
Okay.
kind of bad.
I keep seeing it, and I'm just like, I want to watch it. My dad, if you're watching, I love you. My dad started watching it. I think it was over our summer break, and like there wasn't a single day where he wasn't watching it. And I was like, what is so good about? Because I have so many friends who talk about it too. It was Stranger Things and Game of Thrones at one point, and I was like, I don't know which one to go into. I watched Stranger Things and I loved it, but Game of
like
Thrones, I'm
Stranger
like,
Things, too.
what should I?
It's huge. It's a huge show, and it's
I have
definitely a
yet
huge
to get into
commitment.
Stranger Things.
It's good. I actually got to meet David Harbour, who's in.
Nice.
I'm
who's in
leaving.
Stranger
Sorry, guys.
Things.
I got.
No, I met
I've
him.
watched the first few episodes. It's just it hasn't clicked for
Right.
me yet.
I haven't finished season 2 yet.
I'm still in season 1.
Yeah, I haven't finished season 2 quite yet, but yeah, but Game of Thrones is sort of a huge undertaking just because there's so much that goes into it, and then when you watch the first episode, they sort of almost spoon feed you things, which is sort of necessary in a show that has hundreds upon hundreds of characters, but then you realize that there is years and years and years of material that happened before the main story starts. Like, the main story takes place, and 20 years before, there was like this huge war, and that's why Daenerys is where she is in the beginning, and that's why Ned Stark is married to his wife, because his brother was married or engaged to her before, and then his brother dies, and it's like this
Wow.
huge thing. So it's this thing where you're sort of lost. Like, I watched it with my mom, actually. I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes with her, and she was like confused, and like at one point we had to pause it, and I was like, okay, this is this person and this is this person. Like, for the first few episodes, it's very confusing because there are so many characters, and some of them have these weird names, and you're like, who's this blonde lady? I thought that blonde lady was this blonde lady, and wait, they're brother and sister? I thought
What?
they were, like, it's very confusing until you finally get the hang of it, and you're like, and by the end of it, you're so invested.
How long is each episode?
Each episode's like an hour.
So
Whoa.
what I'm hearing is it's on my next to binge.
Yeah. And I have all of season 1.
Let me just write that. Let me
I
write
actually
that
have all
down.
of the seasons, but I don't have all of them with me. I do have season 1 with me because season 1 is one of my favorites,
Okay.
just because it's the closest to the book. Season 3 is also one of my favorites.
I might start this weekend then.
Do it.
I
It's great.
honestly, I might start it this weekend. I've been
Don't know how I'm
in need
gonna
of something.
start it, but I'll still start
I'm
it.
I'm in need of something new to binge watch, and I mean an hour every episode. I mean I don't.
It's not that bad.
They'll give me how many episodes? There's like 7 out right now, right?
There's 7 seasons.
Yeah.
And the 7th season has 8 episodes, I think, but the last 2 or 3 are a bit longer than the rest of them.
So give me about a month and I'll probably finish it.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Seems legit.
If
But yeah.
that.
But yeah, Game of Thrones is just something, like, I've been rewatching it. I don't know if I mentioned that or not.
Oh, so you've already gone through everything already.
Yeah,
Oh,
more
wow.
than once, and I've seen the first season. I don't know how many times because it's
Okay.
so good.
All right.
But
well,
but when you get to episode 9,
of season 1.
well, of any season, honestly.
Oh, okay.
But when you get to that second to last episode, because there isn't 10 episodes in the and 7, something big is going to happen. It happens in every. I'm not going to spoil
Please
1
don't.
or 3, but in season 2, there's this huge battle, and it's insane. It's so cool.
Okay.
It's like,
Okay.
out of all the giant set piece battles in Game of Thrones, I think season 2 is my favorite. Battle of Blackwater. It's really cool. There's something called Sorry, I'm getting excited.
No,
There's
please.
something called wildfire in Game of Thrones, and it's like this green fire, and it sort of burns really crazily and harshly, and they're on boats out in the middle of like the ocean almost, and they start throwing wildfire at people, and it's It's so cool.
That sounds
It's so cool.
Okay.
unbelievably crazy.
Oh yeah, there are some episodes where you're like the end of the first episode. There's this. It's not really a twist because they sort of hint at it in the very beginning of the episode. But you're like, and that's the end of the first episode, and it's so shocking and like,
Okay.
They leave you on a cliff.
yeah, in the very first episode, and you're like, I need to watch the next one.
Okay.
I need to
Okay.
watch the next
And
one.
that
Okay,
is
yeah,
how the
this-
hook gets
Yes.
in.
So if you guys out there haven't seen Game of Thrones, I super recommend it. Like I said, I don't really love the last couple of seasons, but once you get to them, you've already made the time commitment, and you just want to go through them anyway. Like True Blood.
Okay.
True Blood, the first 3 seasons, amazing. After that, it's so trash.
all
It's
downhill
so
from here.
bad.
All
But
downhill from here.
But I've never stuck with anything more, because True Blood was like, that was like my thing. Like,
I did that
was
with
amazing.
the Grey's Anatomy because they killed off every one of my favorite characters.
I've heard that.
And
Game of Thrones
so-
has also done that to me.
so
there's
like
only
I already made the time commitment, so I have to finish it anyways.
there's only one character I like really love who's still in the show. Sophie Turner's character, Sansa. A lot of people like hate Sansa, and they're like, oh, she acts this way. She acts it. Well, her family is sort of has like this masculine energy. Like her younger sister is like a soldier, and she's not like a soldier, but she like can fight with a sword, and she's really cool or whatever. But
She's a swordswoman.
yeah, and Sansa was sort of in King's Landing with all the royalty people for most of her storylines and stuff. So she's picked up on that. She has like those skills, while the rest of her family doesn't. So I'm like, Sansa can like survive the actual Game of Thrones better than the rest of her family. So I don't know why.
She isn't on the throne.
Yeah, y'all better put some respect on
Alright.
Miss Sansa Stark's name.
All
Like,
right.
I love her. But I guess I'm done gushing about Game of Thrones. And we can move on to something else I can gush about, Venom, because I also love Venom and
Oh.
Tom Hardy.
Oh boy. Okay.
I haven't seen it, but
Either
No,
I haven't even seen
no,
the trailer.
it's fine. Because I saw it. I actually the second we said what we're gonna talk about, I was like, you know what, let's talk about Venom. But I was like, I haven't seen it yet, so let me go ahead and see it. So yeah, went and saw it yesterday at 3:45 in IMAX.
oh really?
Oh, nice.
And
Well,
How do you want me to do this? Do you want me to give my score and then my full review, or full review and then score? How do you want me to do it?
It
'Cause
doesn't-
I'm not decisive.
it doesn't matter.
Okay.
review.
Okay.
I
I'm
need-
sorry. I'm
I need
sorry. I'm
something.
trying. I'm gonna piss people off when I say this. I feel like, but I gave it a 5 out of 10. I'm struggling between a 4.5 or a 5 out of 10, and here's my problem with it. The thing is just that it felt off to me. Like when I picture Venom, and I'm not a big Venom fan. Like
Right.
Venom's not my favorite hero, villain, anti-hero, whatever it is. I don't really care about Venom.
Anti-hero.
And is it anti-hero?
Anti-hero.
Anti-hero. Yeah, I don't really care for Venom, but like I wanted it, but he looked cool in the trailer, so I was like, let me go see this movie. This looks really fun. And there's too many like things that they should have done differently. The biggest thing that I'm pretty sure you guys have heard at this point is that it should have been rated R.
Right.
That's
oh
prob-
yeah.
that's
yeah,
probably
I've-
that is probably
I've felt that since it sort of have since it was announced that it was going to be PG-13. I
like
was
that is probably
this
one of
should
my
be-
biggest, and that was something that like I instantly said once, and I was like, this definitely should have been rated R because I mean we had Deadpool, we had Deadpool 2, we
And
had
Logan.
Logan, and all those were critically.
Wasn't Watchmen rated R too?
I believe so. I think so. And all those were critically and commercially successful. Like they did a really, really good job, you know, on Rotten Tomatoes and at the box office. So when I saw Venom, I was just like, I didn't feel scared. I'm not saying Deadpool was scary or Logan was scary, but when I see Venom, when I was a kid and I saw Venom, I was like, I looked at my brother Jared, I was like, who's this guy? I was like, Jared, you got to get him off the screen. I don't like him. So when I saw him on the big screen, I was like, this looks really cool. I feel like this is going to be terrifying. But like, I didn't get that vibe.
Apparently,
didn't have
I've heard a lot of things. Like I've seen people that have liked the movie.
Yes,
maybe
there are people.
not have like loved it or anything, but I've seen people that have like enjoyed the movie, and I've been like, oh, maybe it should have been marketed a little bit differently because the movie comes across as more of a comedy, maybe, as more of a sort of not super serious superhero, anti-hero movie type thing, but just something that's lighter and more fun.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the way it was marketed.
Yeah. It just.
That's what I heard. I haven't seen it, so I can't.
No, it's fine.
I can't confirm that camera.
My thing with this camera, okay. My thing is just that, like, it. Let me go through this real quick. Let me just actually read my notes right in front of my face. So first off, if anything, Tom Hardy is great.
He's a brilliant actor.
Without
He's good in
a
everything.
doubt. Like he carried the film. His performance is amazing. I feel like there isn't anyone who cannot praise Tom Hardy's performance. I loved his performance without a doubt. I liked Venom's voice. I thought the way Venom looked was cool. I feel like he didn't get enough screen time. That's
Venom?
just me. Yeah, Venom himself. Like he came in like I want to say a third of the way in the movie, which I mean can be
I
a
guess
good.
that makes
It makes sense, but like even when he came in, I feel like I didn't see him enough.
Right.
That could just be me.
But isn't it about Venom himself?
Well, Eddie Brock,
Yeah.
who is Venom,
Yeah.
so I guess they wanted to tell Eddie's story and then lead into
That could have been it.
Venom and sort of his relationship with the symbiote and stuff like that. I guess.
Something else, and this could be just a me thing. I think seeing this in IMAX can be a wild ride. There are a lot of
In a
explosives.
good way or a bad way?
It depends. It depends on the person. Like I said, like people like the movie. Some people didn't like you know what I mean? So it really depends. I thought seeing an IMAX made it a little more fun since of all the explosions and the loud noises and everything that was going on. It made it kind of wild, but I thought it was really fun because you know when the action happened, I liked some of the action sequences. I thought the visuals were cool, especially when he transforms into Venom and you know
Right.
the teeth kind of close around his face. I thought that was really cool. But that's all I have for the pros. That's all I have for the pros. So here are some of my things that I didn't like with this film. The villain was not effective to me.
I could see that from the trailers.
I didn't like the villain. The villain came off as like an angsty teenager. He really seemed like someone that didn't want to like do it, like the type of villain who like gets angry at the people who he's working with, so he does it himself. Like he relies too much on his henchmen to do what he has to do for himself, and then he finally decides to step in.
Right.
I didn't like the villain. The villain was not effective to me.
Did they set up Carnage? Because I heard Carnage is supposed to be coming soon.
Yes.
Did they really?
Yes. Not going to say when or where, but yes, they did.
I'm so excited.
That's all I'm going to say.
I need to see
And the
this.
tone. That's something else with the movie. The tone. Like I
It was
said,
more silly
when
than-
they tried to go into the Marvel Cinematic Universe route. Like you know how those movies are funny, but there's still action and it's
Right.
a good movie. Venom did too much of that. It tried to crack too many jokes. Some of them didn't land. And again, this is Venom we're talking about. A scary. I almost cussed. I'm sorry. A really scary anti. But like he kept. I don't want to laugh in a movie like Venom, and that could just be me. But
Right.
it's just like the way the posters look, the way the atmosphere is, how it's supposed to be dark. I didn't feel scared. It didn't feel super dark to me. It
Right.
felt too comedic.
I wish I wish I had seen it just so I can have more to say.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know what I think.
Honestly,
I don't know what I think.
So what I'm
What's going
getting
on?
is that the directors were trying too hard.
Kind of. Again, it's you have to see it for yourself because let's keep this in mind too. The Rotten Tomatoes rating is like a 30 out of 100, but the audience score is an 89 out of 100.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
So everyone's different. Some people like myself are like not the biggest fans of it, but I have friends who like gave it a perfect score. Like, dude, that movie's perfect. It's amazing. I'm just like, okay.
I don't think it's gonna be that because when
It's
I saw
not. It's
when I
definitely
saw
not.
the trailers,
I wasn't a big fan of the one trailer I saw.
I was like, oh, I don't know how good this is gonna be, but I still want to see it because I like the character. I like Tom Hardy. I like the cast.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be fine for what it is. I think it's gonna be like I don't think it's gonna be like amazing. I don't think it's gonna be Logan or like Winter Soldier or anything like that. And when I saw the trailer, I didn't think that, but I figured I would be okay with whatever they give me.
You know what's funny? You just said trailer, and this is the biggest flaw of the movie. This is the biggest no-no. This is the biggest no-no in filmmaking. You want to know what they did? The last scene in the film is in the trailer.
Seriously?
Like the very, very last scene?
I don't want to say the very last scene
Or
before
like
the
the
credits roll.
climactic scene?
I want to say like the scene maybe like a few minutes before the credits roll is in the trailer.
That's kind of fried.
What?
And I'm talking like when the scene was happening, I was quoting it. I was like, "This is this is in the trailer. Are you kidding me?" And then the movie, I was like, "Okay." That's what you don't do that.
You don't,
Right.
You're
don't
not-
put the ending.
I don't love that.
You're not supposed to do that.
Because that's like, there's no point of watching the movie. You
Yeah.
give us the last scene.
Yeah, like in the very second like the scene is happening, like the second he walks into the scene, I'm like, this looks like this was in the. It was, and it literally played out. Jenna was like, nope, this isn't cool. And
Well.
Stan Lee's cameo was at the end of the film.
Don't spoil it.
Sorry, but I mean, like, no, I'm not saying what happened, but I'm just like, I just thought I mentioned that, like Stan Lee's cameo. It just like, I forgot that there was one.
Oh.
I'm sorry to anyone who wanted to see that too, but just yeah. But it just, when it happened, I was like, oh crap, I forgot he's supposed to make a cameo appearance. But then I was angry. I was like, oh yeah, you made a cameo appearance.
Right.
At the worst point. Okay.
Well,
Yeah. What else do I have to say about Venom other than nothing? My mom is watching.
Hi, Mrs. Spells.
Tucker.
Oh, sorry.
Hi,
sorry.
Mrs. Tucker.
Hi, Miss Tucker. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to mess up your last name.
honestly, I think my mom's watching.
I don't know who's watching in my family.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say about Venom. Do you have anything else you want to add, or anything
Well,
else
I
you
was
wanna-
gonna. Do you? Are you guys big Marvel fans by any chance?
Yes.
What do you think of Dark Phoenix?
I
haven't
haven't
seen
seen
the
the
trailers
trailer
for it.
Never
yet.
mind. Okay, never mind. I was gonna try
I
and
was
relate it
going
to something
to,
else, but
but-
Yeah, I'm not super huge into the X-Men stuff.
okay.
I'm more in like solely sort of MCU thing. Oh, my mom says hi. I'm like sort of more into MCU stuff, and I've tried to get into X-Men.
I like the X-Men series personally.
I haven't. Oh, your mom is watching,
Oh, hi, Mom.
and then somebody named Jared says hi.
Good lord.
But yeah, I'm sort of trying to get into X-Men stuff just because so I can have the knowledge of it, I guess. But I haven't.
Okay. Well, fair enough. Well, I mean, honestly, again, yeah. Before we move on, let me just say this: you have to. I say this every time. Everyone's different. So go see Venom. Like, I'm not saying like don't just go based off of my score. I don't even go based off the critics. Like, especially
Right,
with
I don't either.
I'm a major Transformers fan. I love all the 5 films. Don't say anything. I know they're trash. Like every other person, I know they're trash. I know they're trash. But I still watch them because they're like a guilty pleasure. Venom, it's different for everyone. I have friends who gave it like a 20 out of a million. I don't know.
20 out of a million.
Some people gave it a perfect score. Some people, like myself,
a
didn't
mood.
like it. I don't know. Like, you have to see it for yourself. I, for one, just thought it could have been better, and that's why I gave it a 5 out of 10. Because it's not terrible. You can watch the film.
Right.
Yeah.
But, like, there's definitely some things that you're going to be like, that could have been different, or maybe they shouldn't have done that. That's my full take on it. Go see the movie, without a doubt. Please go see the movie. It's worth it.
Yeah, and I hear it's doing really well at the box office,
it's doing-
considering the
it's
reviews.
very great at the box
Yeah.
office. Very
Which
great.
is exciting because I think Tom Hardy is a really great actor, and I want to see him do more. Like, he's a great, like, serious, dramatic.
And he does such
character.
a good job
I
in
would like
the
to
film.
see him do sort of more like less dark and like crazy, like I'm killing
Yeah.
it. Like, I know Venom is an anti-hero,
Yeah.
and Eddie Brock is sort of like this weird, I don't know, maybe morally not great character, but seeing him doing less like, I'm playing Charles Bronson, I'm playing this serial killer, I'm playing this guy who's trying to kill Leonardo DiCaprio. Like,
Yep.
I want to see him do more stuff like that.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So-
Definitely.
I guess we're moving on.
Let's do it.
We're gonna move on to, I guess,
Sammy.
and yeah,
Shane
to-
Dawson's documentary about Jake Paul.
Oh boy.
There is 6 out of 8 parts out, and it makes me angry, but not at the same time. It's really weird because I personally don't really care for the Pauls, but when he started off the series, he was like, okay, is Jake Paul a sociopath? And me being me, I'm interested in like the sociopath, psychopath, that whole science behind it. And what makes me most mad is that he took a eating disorder therapist and trying to have her figure out if Jake Paul was a
I am
sociopath.
subscribed to her, and she's like a family therapist, I think.
Yeah. And well, Jake Paul didn't come until like recently. Like the first, what was it, like 3 parts he wasn't in it?
He didn't come until part 5.
Oh, first 4 parts, he wasn't even in it.
Yeah.
And he came in towards the end, and I'm like, it's about Jake Paul. I get that he researched, like, he went through all the, like, drama. He went through the people who left Team 10, specifically Nick Crompton, that's his name.
I have no idea who these people
Wasn't it
are.
Nick Crompton?
All I know is Shane Dawson, who I'm not a fan of. I'm also not a fan of Jake Paul.
No.
Yeah.
His brother. I don't know which one they're doing it about. Logan, Jake, whatever.
It's about Jake.
It's about
I
Jake.
don't care. They're the same person in my brain.
It's a lot that
I have
everybody does
very strong opinions about Shane Dawson and also the Pauls and also this thing that people are calling a documentary.
And see, this.
It's like more of like a series than
See,
anything.
this and this is what I love because see, we have someone who's like, I stand, and it's like, I don't care. I'm in the middle. I mean, so here's the thing. I never really watched Jake Paul. I never really watched Shane Dawson like that. So I was just like, okay. But I also never liked Jake Paul or Logan Paul either.
They're not funny.
They're not funny to me at all.
They're not funny.
They're just as cringy as watching Katy Perry
Their
perform
vines are
live.
funny,
I don't
but that's
like
just
them.
it.
I don't like them. It's not. I don't find them hilarious. I find their content very cringy. And so like when I heard that there is a series being made, I was like, oh, this is interesting. You know, I kept
Yeah.
hearing sociopath. It's like I was like, I agree. So that's why I'm watching it because like I agree. Like they are both doing things that. How are you going to record someone dead in a forest? And I know it's not about Logan, but I'm just
Logan,
saying
but it is
like,
in
but
the
Jake has
series.
also done some things that are just as messed up. And so my thing is that I'm only watching it just to see like if this is true. Like, yeah. I really feel like he does have some
He has
psychopathic
sociopathic
tendencies.
tendencies.
Yeah, without a doubt. But like again, I don't really care
But
about
he
Shane.
is empathetic, completely,
But I
utterly.
also do not like Jake. So I'm really I'm just watching it to see like what this leads to.
Yeah.
Because I personally believe that both Jake and Logan are just without a doubt insane. Now Shane, we know what Shane.
Sorry,
Shane
I just
is,
read a tweet. I'm distracted. I'm sorry.
About what?
Literally nothing related. I'm sorry. I'm
Okay,
distracted.
no, it's fine. No, but like now with Shane, I also like never really watched his stuff
He
up
was
until
controversial very beginning of his career.
Yeah, and that's sort of when I was, interested in him and thought he was funny, but I also had the humor of I was in 5th grade,
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
sort of, I feel like,
He did mature from then, though.
I guess, but
But
I
he's
just-
still. What I don't like about this series completely is the fact that he doesn't really understand that people with like personality disorders and like sociopathic and psychopathic tendencies, he's like, oh, it's just black and white. There's a gray in the middle. There's not like, oh, you're a sociopath and you're not a sociopath. There is a middle.
and I don't even I think they're going too far to diagnose the Pauls as sociopathic or not sociopathic
Yeah.
or whatever. They're just, I almost cussed, sorry mom. They're just idiots.
Yeah.
Never, okay.
she's raging.
They're
Yeah,
doing
I
too
am.
much
Miss
for
Tucker,
the
come
views.
get your daughter. Now, I think with the 6th episode, the one that was just recently
Yes.
released, I kind of feel like there isn't going to be an answer by the end of this.
I don't think so.
I-
They kind of
by the-
gave
by
a
the
hint
end
that,
of
that
the-
they're saying he's not one.
Yeah,
But-
by the end of the 6th episode, I was like, so you're about to have a talk with him? Like, what are you exactly going to talk about with him? Was this just to get some more views
And he's
for the
going
both
to talk
of
to
you?
Alyssa.
Yeah,
And we already know that she's a lying
Who is Alyssa?
person
she is Jake's ex-girlfriend.
who slept with his brother.
That's fried.
So I mean,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I was thinking like by the end of the 6th episode, like, I feel like this isn't really gonna lead to like an
I
actual
also
answer.
feel like there's going to be a 9th episode,
No.
but like not at the same time. It's just that, okay, where is this heading?
How I feel about these series that Shane Dawson is doing, because I know he did one on Jeffree Star. I
Yes.
feel like he's going out of his way
To
sort
clear
of-
people's names.
to sort of redeem people
Who
who don't need it. Who don't need it.
Did Jeffree Star do? I feel like
Yeah,
I know that
Jeffree
name.
Star is almost
He-
horrendously racist.
Yeah.
He in the past has said things like, has told black women to go bleach their skin, has said the N-word multiple times.
Wait, who is it? Stop.
He's a makeup artist.
He is one of the biggest makeup artists on YouTube, and he has
a
his
lot
own.
of people, and a lot of people go out of their way to defend him. And he was literally like 2 weeks ago, his former hairstylist or something came out and was like, these are text messages from Jeffree Star talking about Jackie Aina. And Jackie Aina is like a really famous black celebrity, not celebrity, but she is a makeup artist on
Influencer?
YouTube. And so she's a really big deal. And I love Jackie Aina. I watch her stuff all the time. But
I
he
have
was
not
calling
watched
her a gorilla and stuff like that. And so
No,
I'm like, people
don't.
who go out of their way to defend Jeffree Star and people who are like, oh, Shane Dawson is like defending him or whatever, I feel like it's inappropriate.
Yeah,
It's
I
it is.
feel like
inappropriate in these-
Shane thinks that he needs to clear people's names
which is dumb.
who don't
Oh,
think
and
that they
here
don't
he-
have
here
a
he is
chance.
with
But
cornrows in his
Jeffree
hair.
Yeah,
does
which was
not
recent.
give a flying doo-doo.
He clearly doesn't, and all of his fans don't care either. People are like, oh my god, his makeup is so amazing. Like, literally, you can find,
Anyone.
listen, you can find dupes. You can find so much better makeup that's cheaper and probably does the same exact thing. Like,
Yeah.
don't give your money to someone who wants to go out of the way to sort of offend a majority.
I like how
of
this went
people.
from Shane Dawson to Jeffree Star.
I know, but
But
both of them,
Yeah.
and also the Pauls, and they're not even their track record isn't much better either.
It's
no.
yeah. It's
and Shane is
full of
low key
negativity.
trying to blame everything on the father, Greg Paul. And
They're adults; they can take responsibility for their
Yeah.
own stuff.
And the fact that Greg, however you want to pronounce it, is living in the Team 10 house full of a bunch of teen kids and adults, it's kind of weird.
It doesn't make any sense. I don't.
And I can see where, because of the last episode so far had made me kind of pity Jake in a way, but I hate the fact that I do because his girlfriend, which has actually been confirmed that it's real, not for publicity, but it was originally, she said that the only reason why Jake started the Team 10 and had the house is because Jake doesn't like being alone. And it makes me pity with him because, like, I feel that on an emotional level. And, well, he was at a YouTube convention and everybody isolated Jake, which also made me pity him. And I hate that I do because I don't care for the Pauls at all. I used to, and then the whole controversy with Logan, I dropped everybody for the Pauls because I'm like,
Another problem I have with this is that people are like, oh my god, he's the new documentarian of like the planet. Like,
no.
what is he doing other than doing a
he's-
basic Wikipedia search and finding out information
Yeah,
and putting it in his videos? Do you know how easy it is to do that? There are like actual documentarians who are like busting their butts to make, films and stuff,
Yeah.
and people are like, oh my god,
And Shane,
he's so amazing.
I mean,
I personally like Shane, but I feel like he can put so much more effort into it than he did.
it could
Yeah.
be done better. I really
Definitely.
think that it's so weird. I think it's so weird. I feel like this was a bad time to do it just because of the fact that like
It's not even finished.
no, it's not finished. He keeps pushing it off. Have you noticed that too?
Oh,
with some
he
of the episodes.
has an infection right now. He's like literally sick
So how does that go about? Like
because he
like,
edits his own videos, and so him being sick, he has to take time for his own mental health and his physical health as well.
Oh, okay. Because I'm trying to figure out like what are we seeing off camera? Like, do we get to see this? Like, there was in part 6. I think he was
He
just like,
did
"Hey, turn the camera off for a second." Like, what happened?
Yeah.
What happened off camera? Like stuff
That's
like
a
that.
very good question.
Like when it comes to documentaries, I want to see
You
it.
gotta have the off-camera
I want to
moments
see
too.
everything. And so when the second he was like, "Hey, turn the camera off for a minute," and then it turned to a different
made
camera angle, I
me-
was like, "Wait a minute."
It's made me suspicious.
Now,
like he's
now
hiding
I want to
something.
now I want to know what it is that they talked about when the camera was off.
And there's hours in between that talk.
Yeah, there's hours in between each episode being released. Like, what could have happened like during the time when there isn't an episode up?
Or what did he cut out during editing? Like he can make an entire like movie out of this whole documentary, and he's cutting out like things that we could possibly need or want to know. For what? The sake of Shane's reputation or Jake's reputation that
See?
he's trying to clear up himself?
That's something that I'm concerned with. Like, is this really trying to prove, is Jake Paul a socio or psychopath,
Or is it
this
just trying to clear up
is
Jake's
this
name?
trying to clear up Jake, or is this just for views for all three of them, for Logan Paul, Jake Paul, and Shane Dawson? That's
Because
my
even
biggest thing.
Logan made see the whole how I figured out, because I kind of knew this gray
Remember
area,
when
but
Shane Dawson did
Logan
blackface?
made him.
Sorry.
Did he? Again, see, I don't follow Shane like that, so I wouldn't know.
That's
What about
his
that?
controversy. He was black-faced.
Let me
He
look
was
this up.
he
did
was
a-
very
He did
stereotypical
a
in the
lot of
beginning.
offensive videos back in
And
the
that's
day.
where a lot of his humor came from. And that's what I like about him, is because he stopped doing that for the most part. Like, he still body shames himself, which I don't like, because, oof.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, he has dealt with real but he's gone through a lot of stuff throughout high school.
Mm-hmm.
And he even developed an eating disorder.
Right.
And so I think me kind of remotely siding personally with Shane helps me like pity him, and how I like listen to his opinions a lot, because he's like, oh my God, I've gone through this, and like, oh my God, I've gone through something similar. He's obviously something I should watch.
Right.
And so it's like, oh, hey, he's trying to clear up Jake's name. Maybe kids who watch Shane, who, like, how do I put it, personally see themselves a little bit in Shane. If he's trying to clear up Jake's name, maybe they should forgive Jake for what he's done in the past, or Logan and what he's done in the past, because
You can't. I'm gonna bring in something so different when I say this.
I
Do it.
I don't know. I just can't get on that ship. That's not a hill I'm willing to die on.
I don't.
like I said, I don't personally think I will continue watching the polls.
Go to the polls.
I'm not.
November
Vote.
6th.
Hey, vote actually. Yeah, vote. But you can't. I don't know if I want to say this. We're gonna get into something deep when I say this, but like, you can't forgive racism.
No.
So
You can
when I'm
mature from that
now, here's the
point.
thing. Now I know I said I'm watching this. I'm just watching this series to see what this is about to be about. But
Yeah.
I'm not watching this series to be like, oh, Jake Paul is cool. No.
No.
Because every time people bring him up, they talk about what he did in the past. They talk about how abusive
He
he
was-
They talk about how annoying he was to his
He
neighbors.
was racist.
They talk about how he was racist. They talk about how he is around children and what he does, when the camera's off. And so, like, hearing that, talking to people who was that guy from the Middle East when he was like, "Someone's going to blow something up." Was that guy
And
from the
that's when he started the rumor about him being racist, which is true, I think.
All right, let's wrap it up, everybody.
Fine. Gosh.
Okay.
Well, I mean, honestly, yeah, I was about to go on a tangent, so yeah, we can wrap it up.
Yeah.
That's okay.
We're gonna.
Before we get too deep.
Let's cut it off.
So I guess my last question is, I'm trying to figure something out.
I'm ready.
If there was somebody who you would like to see redeemed in any way, who would you want it to be?
Redeemed.
And sort of maybe they have a sketchy past, or maybe they've done something and they sort of want to atone for it. Who would you like that person to be?
That's a tough one,
That is a tough one. Oh man.
because all I do is watch YouTube. Oh.
Okay, I guess I'll say my answer. I want to see like the people, like the girls of the mid 2000s, like the party girls, like Paris Hilton and Lindsay Lohan. I know Paris Hilton has done some like weird things recently, but I like,
Lindsay Lohan's still in
so
recovery.
has she. Lindsay Lohan has sort of been doing some weird stuff. She tried to like kidnap somebody's kid. I don't know. It was weird. It was weird.
Lindsay,
But I
what?
would like to see her like, I don't know, come back and like go back to, because she released some bops back in the day. Like, what was that song? Rumors. Like,
I have
iconic.
not. I didn't even
But,
know she was a music artist.
Iconic. And I would just like to see those girls sort of come back from the I don't know, the turmoil and the controversy that they created back in the day.
I have no
think
idea.
I have one. See, I'm not personally a believer, but Justin Bieber, he's gone through a lot of rehab and all that. So I kind of want to see what would his reputation be if he completely got redeemed for his past. It's just,
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I don't really.
I like his music.
He's
It's
sort
just
of
I
on
just
my
didn't really
list
like him
too,
as a
but-
person.
I don't.
But, yeah.
I don't have a person. I don't think I have a. And I feel like if I chose a person, I would be like, no, that doesn't count, Joel. So I'm just. I don't have a person.
Okay.
I had another one because Demi Lovato, her drug abuse and all that, and her recent overdose too.
Right.
Hey, remember when I said wrap it up?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we're good. I think.
Yes, that is the end of that. And okay, this was a great show. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we will be back next week. So have a great weekend, guys.